recording now. So thank you very much, Sophia, for joining us this morning. Just for people that might be viewing this workshop webinar, my name's Adele Owen. I'm the Suicide Prevention and Bereavement Support Programme Manager for NHS GM ICB. And as part of our Shining a Light on Suicide campaign, we've been working for almost 5 years now, very closely with Samaritans. And it's been great to link in with Sophia, who's from the Manchester branch of Samaritans. We've worked together before. She very kindly delivered a webinar many months ago now about the power of listening. And, you know, for our suicide prevention work and bereavement support work, the power of listening is so important. And I think for many people working in the NHS and related roles, I think, you know, we can all learn more skills about listening because it can make a huge impact and actually can be life-changing and life-saving, in my view. So it was felt that because we had about 300 people join us last time, many people wanted to join us but were unable to. So we wanted to record this session so that it went on our website so that those that couldn't make it could still get the benefits. So thank you so much again, Sophia, for giving your time to do this. And I'll let you kind of share more about yourself and share more about the power of listening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adele. Yes, my name is Sophia. I am a listening volunteer at Samaritans. And I'm just going to share my screen so that we can get this presentation going.
It can take some time, can't it, to set up, but don't worry.
Bear with me.
Just as the skill of listening takes patience, we also need patience when we're working with IT.
Here we go, preparing slides.
Lovely, and I can see that. That's great. Thank you.
Here we go. And can you see just the front slide then?
Yes, your title page.
Okay, lovely. Yes, so thank you so much, Adele, for having me, and also Greater Manchester Health. So today, as Adele said, we're going to be talking about the power of listening. I have been a Samaritan listening volunteer for 15 years, and with that have done work in the community with outreach, and engaging in different ways with different people. And this is, as Adele said, something that we put on last year that was a lot of people felt they got a lot out of, and have been able to utilise it in their own workspaces and also within their own families. So this is a listening workshop. First, we will talk about who are Samaritans. A lot of people don't know about Samaritans still. So just giving you an overview of what we are and what we do. The power of listening, talking about different listening styles that you can adopt in your own work practices to support others, but also as a support for yourselves. A lot of people that do know about Samaritans believe that it's a service for others and it's for everyone, anyone that's struggling. So who are Samaritans? I've given you a brief overview, but so it's emotional support charity. It provides a listening service, and that is, as I said, for anyone in distress, whether that's stress related to work, stress related to relationships, or people that are experiencing suicidal thoughts. So it's that entire journey from day-to-day distress to feeling at their end, at their peak, that they want to end their life. It's a 24 hours a day service, and it's free. And that's from mobiles and telephones. You can also email if you prefer to email rather than talk over the phone. And you can still write a letter. Some people like writing their thoughts down, whether that's email or by post and someone will respond to you there. We're also trialing web chat. There is a self-help app as well, and we have an app for veterans and the military. So Samaritan's vision is that fewer people die by suicide. And as I said, suicide and suicidal thoughts are an entire journey. So if we can engage with people early to provide that emotional support and simple listening skills to allow someone to access early intervention, early support, and to talk about their feelings, hopefully fewer people will die by suicide. And there's research that suggests that if someone's in their peak of suicidal thoughts, that if one can talk to them for a short period of time or up to 30 minutes, that peak of distress is then reduced. So our values at Samaritans, listening, is at our core. We allow people to explore their own feelings, their own situations, and their options that they feel that they have as well through listening. Confidentiality is something that I'm sure many of you will have in your organisations. So we are a confidential organisation. We do have safeguarding to offer additional support to people if they want that or if they are at risk. But largely we are confidential and a non-judgmental organisation. So we allow people that space to feel supported without any judgment, without fear of being told what to do. This allows people to make their own decisions wherever possible and feel empowered to have that. And human contact. We all need human contact. And even if we have friends and family, often when we have troubling thoughts, we don't want to share those with others. And having someone that is neutral and someone that you will not see again or speak to again, you can have that human contact without that fear of judgment. So Samaritans answer calls every 10 seconds. We have over 22,000 volunteers across the country and over 200 branches. It is free on 116 123, and that's for you and the people that you're supporting. And we're open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And we've answered over 1 million calls in the past year. So who contacts us? Anyone. We have health workers contact us, the emergency services. We have people in all sectors that contact us, people that are suffering mental health challenges, relationship problems, financial problems, veterans, anyone across the whole of the population contacts us. And it isn't for a specific reason. It's just people that need to talk, need to offload, and need to be heard. So everyday listening challenges, this is meant to be interactive. So I'd like to think about what your challenges are, and it will just give you a few seconds or a few minutes just to have a think about those and write those down for yourself. Either inside or outside of the workplace, what are your listening challenges that you face on a day-to-day basis? And I'll just give you a few moments to write those down. So previously, when we did the interactive webinar and on discussion with other people, lots of different things come up. Noise is a big one. You know, if we're working in busy locations, in different busy places, busy environments, noise can be really challenging to listen to someone, to hear the words that they're saying. We also work, or lots of you will work in areas that you are advice providers. So working in financial settings, supporting people with signposting to other organisations or how you can help them. Providing advice is what you do. It comes naturally to you, and problem solving. And sometimes that can hinder listening. Time is a massive one, and at Samaritans, we are blessed with being able to provide people with the time to talk and to be listened to. Sometimes we do have calls from an hour to an hour and a half, and obviously that isn't a realistic expectation for most settings. However, you can still actively listen to someone, even if it's for a short period of time, and apply these skills that we're going to go through in whatever setting you're in. And you can always signpost people to Samaritans for ongoing support. So being heard, I'm going to give you a few more minutes again. I'd just like you to think about a time when someone really made you feel listened to. Could have been in a friendship group or a work setting, but what was it that that person did to show you that they were really listening? And what effect did this have on you with that feeling of being heard? So once again, just give you a few more minutes to jot those down. So some of the things that people have talked about previously is body language. People felt heard or were shown that people were being listened to by someone else's body language, having an open, positive body language, and leaning in, but giving someone space at the same time, mirroring someone's body language. If someone has mirrored your body language, it shows that they're listening. The use of eye contact is another thing that people have mentioned before, which can also be difficult. It's a very fine balance of how much eye contact you want to use with someone, but eye contact so that people know that you're still listening. And the greatest tool that we all have is silence. By leaving pauses of silence, allow someone to know that your mind is with them. And people have said that how they felt when they were really listened to included things like they felt safe, comforted, emotionally held in that moment by someone else. They felt heard and important, validated that someone had given them that time to explore how they've been feeling and being present with them in that moment. And I'd like you to think about those things as we move on. And after this webinar, I'd really like you to go away and try and put some of these skills into practice. Look at how you're communicating with people, and in a conversational situation, whether it's at home or work afterwards, just take note of how you're listening and how you can put some of these tools that you're going to hear next into practice. And you can go away and then reflect on that and come back to this webinar and think about what you did well, what you could do better in the future as a constant learning process. So now we're going to listen to a couple of clips, and I'd like you to think about how this interaction plays out. So reflecting on that clip, I'd like you to again write down how you felt that was. In previous discussions, people have said things like dismissive, not listening at all to what he was saying. He was quite abrupt in his nature. He didn't really hear the fact that he was struggling with the relationship breakup, and he was telling him what to do. So I'll play you the clip again, but plays out slightly differently, and have a think about the difference in the interaction between the two friends and the listening skills. Slightly different. So from this clip, we can see that the friend was much more supportive. He used a different tone of voice. He wasn't as abrupt. He had an empathetic, warm tone when he was listening to his friend. He asked if his friend wanted to talk about it when he brought up the topic of being dumped. He allowed his friend to explore the situation that he had and his feelings attached to that. He also reflected back to allow his friend to explore what he wanted to do about the situation, how he felt. Much better. So now we're going to look at some of these tips that we use at Samaritans that hopefully you can use in your own spaces. So these are shush tips. Shush obviously is for listening, to be quiet. But the S is to show that you care, to be present with that person when they're feeling low. To have patience. Often people don't want to talk about their emotions. It doesn't come naturally to people. Often when we are asked how we're doing, our answer is, yes, we're fine, even when we're not. So if you feel that someone isn't okay, whether that's a client, whether that's family or friends, be patient with them. And sometimes we'll see that people are quite abrupt in a response when you ask them if they're okay. And often that's because they're not. So have that patience. You can use open questions with people to allow them to open up the conversations and to explore their feelings like they did in the previous clip. Say it back, reflect, use reflection as a tool to let that person know that you're listening, and also to clarify your understanding, and we'll go through that a bit more in an expanded version of this shortly. And have the courage to approach people. It's not always easy, especially when we're knocked back, when we know something's wrong with someone or that they're going through a difficult time, and having that courage to take that first step to even engage about something that's completely irrelevant. Having that courage is so important, and it can really change someone's life. And we've seen a lot of that with the work that we've been doing with Samaritans, with the Network Rail partnership, their campaigns for Small Talk Saves Lives, making that small engagement or communication and having that courage to do so can really stop someone or break that thought process, especially if someone's feeling suicidal. So remember, shush, if that's all you can remember from this, shush, show you have care, have patience, use open questions, say it back, and have courage. I'll now expand on this, just talking a bit more about how we use this in our own work at Samaritans to support others. So we call this the listening wheel, and I'll go through this step by step. So reacting, I mentioned before, so reacting to what people are saying doesn't need to be huge reactions, just short words of short sounds of encouragement so that people can continue with what they're saying. So reacting, I'm sorry that you're going through a difficult time. Simple, short responses to show that you're actively listening. Also demonstrates that you are, that someone is being heard. It also shows that you've understood the situation that they're going through, not personally, but that what they're saying is accurate. We then have open-ended questions again. So things like how, what, where, who, and why. How is it making you feel? This allows someone to open up and explore their own thoughts, feelings, circumstances, and options. So summarizing. By summarizing something that someone has said, it shows the individual that you have listened and understood what they're saying. It enables you to check that you've had accurate information, and actually all of these things can be really useful for gathering information as well for you in your workplace with people. It also shows summarizing that you're not trying to complete their story in your own head. Reflecting. So repeating back words or phrases to encourage the individual to carry on with what they're saying and allows them to expand on their stories. Then we have clarifying. So this is for both you to clarify that you've understood what someone is saying or what you've heard is accurate, but it's also to clarify for the other person in their own head, to allow them to clarify what they've been saying. Short words of encouragement are huge. Things like yes, or go on, tell me more, but can be a huge tool to allow someone the permission to continue talking, and also lets them know that you're still there. And the final thing is silence. This is something that often doesn't come easy to us. We want to problem solve. We want to fix difficult situations or take someone's pain away. But silence and being present with someone can be the most powerful tool you have. And in conjunction with the other aspects of being present with someone and the shush listening tips, along with some of these tools, silence is hugely powerful. So just showing you how we can use this in action. We call this a stepped approach. So if someone rings us, they may say, I can't do this anymore. You can reflect and say, you say you can't do this anymore. the person may then respond with, yeah, I can't carry on feeling like this. Using clarification, could you tell me more about how you're feeling? I'm constant pressure all the time. It never goes away. It must be so hard for you. Yes, it is. It's getting me really down. I can't focus on anything. We can then question, what sort of things are you struggling to focus on? Deadlines, being with colleagues, meetings, everything, just everything really. We can explore all these things further. That just gave you a little bit of an example of how we can use all the tools shown today in a small breakdown of a conversation, those words of encouragement, and allowing someone to go through that opening up journey into exploring their own feelings, their own situations, and actually to explore and support them to find solutions to their problems. So this clip is just a short clip to show you. Think about the first two clips, the listening clips of the two friends. What went well, what didn't go so well. Think about those shush tips and think about the listening wheel with using the different elements and how they're used in this video. Also look at your own responses to how people are initially behaving and your thoughts towards it, and just watch how it pans out. I'm going to play it not all the way through. Thank you. A very powerful clip, I feel. So just recapping from today, thank you for listening to this, and I hope that it gives you some tools and tips to transfer into your own personal lives and also your workplace, being able to support other people and to give people the time to be heard and to listen. It can't, or it isn't always easy when we have time constraints and pressures around us and deadlines. But these listening tips can be incorporated into your work to support others, using things that you saw in that video, such as silence and body language and short words of encouragement, and having that courage when, like in the clip, you want to, or you feel that you should walk away because it's maybe the easier thing or it's the right thing in your mind. Actually going back and having that courage to sit with someone in their distress and allow them to have that space to speak is hugely powerful. Samaritan service is also there for you. Please do signpost it to anyone that you feel may benefit from offloading or talking or, being heard and having additional support to the services that you provide. Please do signpost us to them. It is 24 hours and it's free to call on 116 123. But it's also for you. It's a service for you to talk about whatever you want to talk about. And sometimes it's just easier to talk to a stranger. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sophia. I got just as much from this session as I did from the previous one, so thank you. And I just wanted to highlight as well, take this opportunity to highlight about our Shining a Light on Suicide campaign in Greater Manchester and the website that we have that has additional information for anyone wanting to support people. And also our Greater Manchester Bereavement Service website, because I know, experiencing loss is huge for people. So if you want to feel more confident when you're listening and offering support, there is that extra information available. And thank you very much for the reminder that Samaritans is there for us too. Really important. And I look forward to working with you going forward as well. But thank you very much for all your help. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you, Adele. And thank you, everyone.